Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for being here. We're delighted to have this many people here, actually, and it's all spaced out very nicely during these times. So we really do appreciate those of you that are here in person, and we know that we have quite an online audience as well. So for those of you who are watching us online, thank you very much for being here. I'm Paul Johnson. I'm the head of school here at KIS, and we're very excited for this event because as a part of our strategic plan, we are introducing a new IB program, and that is going to be the subject of most, not all, but most of the information that you'll hear about this evening. So we've got a number of people who are going to be speaking to you today, and fortunately for you, I'll be one of the ones speaking for the shortest amount of time. That's where you're supposed to laugh at that funny joke. But seriously, thank you very much. I'm going to just take us through the agenda. Right after I do so, I'll introduce a few people so that you can put names to faces. But we are going to share some information about why the middle years program, what are the nice features of that, and why do we believe that that's an exemplary program. Then we'll talk about programs unique to our school. Then why the diploma program, followed by an introduction to the IBCP. And we have a few people who are not on our campus who will be helping us with that. Then we have a virtual panel that will be able to provide more information and answer any questions that you might have. And then we will introduce a representative or two from the Savannah College of Art and Design, and we're very happy to have them here today, and they're the ones clapping at the front. So very, very good to have all of you here. So let me make a few introductions. Besides myself, Becky Fox is our Director for Teaching and Learning. And Becky, I know you're here. Yep, there's Becky. And Becky's position is a school-wide position, and she is really instrumental in working with me and the two principals in particular on the quality of teaching and learning here at the school. Michael Hirsch is our secondary school principal. Unfortunately, Michael is not able to be here with us for this event, but we have Dr. Meacham Purnell, who is the secondary school vice principal, and Meacham is over there, and he will be sharing a lot of information. So my job tonight is just to greet you and really appreciate all of you making the effort to come, and hope you have a good, informative session tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to now pass it on to Meacham, and enjoy the afternoon.
Thank you, Paul. Get mine up here. Okay. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Should we start with a joke? All right, before we get to NYP, okay, I see. All right, the one that matters. Okay, two Adams are hanging out, just kind of chatting. One Adam looks at the other Adam and says, "Oh, I think I just lost an electron." The other Adam says, "Goodness, are you sure?" First Adam just says, "Yeah, I'm positive." Oh, it's a physics joke. You get it? Because electrons are negative. Okay, all right. So my name is Meacham Purnell. I am the secondary school vice principal here at KIS. This is my 5th year in the role. For a long time before that, I did teach physics and chemistry, so that's where the bad science jokes come from. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick on-ramp into college and careers here at KIS. So we're going to start by talking about why NYP. So the middle years program, NYP, runs from grades 6 through 12. It is an IB program that really is more of a curricular framework. So we build our curriculum into the NYP. It is a concept-driven curriculum, which would sort of contrast it to an exam-driven, sort of knowledge, fact-driven, end-of-year exams type of system. That's not what we do in the MYP. Of course, we have homework. Of course, we have tests. But the focus is on concepts. We have a spiraling curriculum. And the focus is on a lot of skills as well. I'll talk about that in a moment. So yes, collaboration and skill development would be some really unique parts of, or main foci in the MYP. One of the things that I really appreciate about the MYP is our criterion referenced assessment. Like I said, each school builds curriculum into the MYP framework, but the MYP does give assessment criteria and assessment guidelines, which really broadens the scope of what we're looking at in an art class or a science class to be across multiple criteria and to give us some consistency across different schools that use the middle years program. So for example, when I'm looking at students who are joining KIS or potentially joining KIS, it's always an advantage to me for them to have come from an MYP school because the grades that they have there have some sort of specific meaning outside of the curriculum itself. Also, a big focus in the PYP, we're looking at transdisciplinary learning. MYP is interdisciplinary, so we're trying intentionally to break down the barriers and talk about multiple disciplines, the sort of college level disciplines that we would do. We'll do multiple ones at the same time. Okay, if we keep going, a few things about the MYP. Here at KIS in particular, we do offer design. A bit of a nod to our SCAD colleagues here. We do offer design for all students in grades 6 through 10. In grades 9 and 10, students do have the opportunity to specialize and do a full year of design, in fact. Another trademark of the MYP is the personal project, which is a sort of capstone project for the MYP. Our students are wrapping that process up right now. This is an opportunity for them to demonstrate research skills and to spend really a great deal of time on a topic of their choice. So this year, my two supervisees were working on a book, sort of from zero to a book. I would call it a short book, but he's done a great job. And the other student has been working on a basketball hoop using sort of commonly available, inexpensive materials. So he's been able to make a sort of a fiberboard backboard from pressing and steaming cardboard and making a rim. So it's sort of like thinking about kids who don't have access to basketball hoops, how they can still have access to the beautiful game of basketball. So anyway, personal project is fantastic. What we find is a very high level of correlation between excellent performance on the personal project and excellent performance in the extended essay a few years later in the diploma program. All right, and I think I've talked about the other two. One of the things here, a characteristic of our program here at KIS is family time, and this is our homegrown pastoral care structure. When we want to talk about, as we are tonight, college and careers and sort of next steps beyond high school, we're really talking about sort of performance at the peak of the pyramid. So what we find is that we have to also pay attention to the base of the pyramid. If we hope to enable students to access their full potential and access the most competitive universities in the world, which they already are, then we need to make sure that they're feeling, first of all, that they're feeling safe and connected and that they have friends and that they have people who care about them. And so family time, our pastoral care structure, is designed to sort of facilitate that and bolster that. The design principle of family time was, let's get the number of students to adults as small as possible. So we essentially took all the adults that could be available for family time, and we divided by the number of students, rather students divided by adults, we got to about 10. So family time is between 9, 10, or 11 students, mixed among a couple of grades, and they spend about 20 minutes a day with each other and with that teacher. And this is a non-academic focus during this time. Just like families, things that families do would be different from one room to the next. The way one teacher is going to run their family, they might be really into puzzles, so they might be a really sporty family. Another family might have intellectual debates. Another family might love to do cross-stitch or work on art projects together. So regardless, 20 minutes a day, we're putting kids together with one another across multiple grades with an adult. So we're really giving opportunities for mentorship and connection. And again, it's not an academic focus. So I would say from my perspective, family time is always like a breath of fresh air into the day when I get to really just hang out with kids and just be and have a nice time and focus on togetherness. Okay, let's keep heading up this ramp. So college counseling, we have a lot of individualized attention in our college counseling program. We have a relatively low counselor to student ratio, so really about 30 or so students per grade per counselor. We begin early, and that has been a very successful part of our program of college counseling is we don't begin this like partway through grade 11. We're really starting in grade 9, and we have specific time, classroom time with counselors and teachers in both grades 9 and 10 before we really begin the college admissions process in earnest in grade 11. We have a chart coming up in a moment, a beautiful 3D pie chart. But you will see our students end up all over the world. And typically in a given year, we would have 8 to 10 countries and some fantastic universities. Of course, our big focus is on the right fit. All right, so we have currently 3 counselors in the secondary. We have Ms. Kat, who's our social emotional counselor for grades 6 through 10. I'm sorry, for grades 6 through 12. Ms. Kat would not be dealing with college stuff per se. This would be more standard school counselor types of things. Friendship challenges, different things that might occur in the course of a regular school day. For university counseling, we have Mr. Carl and we have Ms. Christina. They do a split between grades 9 and 10, and then they split the students in 11 and 12 for the more formalized process there in the end. So our sort of approach to social emotional counseling, you would find from all of us in the secondary a therapeutic, a counseling, a community-focused approach to sort of whatever it is that we're doing. Along with our social emotional counselor, I teach our grades 6 through 10 PSHE classes. That's personal and social health education. This is sort of, we have our physical education courses, which is the health of the body and sort of strategy through games and sports. This course is about the health of the mind and the health of the social structure. So we talk a lot about friendships, empathy, we talk about respect. The PSHE course is also where we talk about our changing bodies, and we talk about sex and drug education as we get to the later grades as well. We do this, in addition to PSHE, we will also do specific assistance for students as they transition into our school. And we have regular meetings of our pastoral care support team to sort of discuss issues that are ongoing and update one another. Okay, so I'm going to go through each grade and sort of what's happening from a university counseling standpoint. So in grade 9, the time that the students have with their counselor there is called the Futures course. So this is asking questions like, what makes me tick? What makes me different than other students? How can I use all of this in my studies? How can I harness my passion to move things forward? We'll talk about global citizenship. We'll talk about careers to a certain extent, but really the focus is about who am I and the individual experience. What we find over and over again is that when students are engaged in things about which they're passionate, then it doesn't seem like it's all that much hard work. So for example, that's one of the biggest pieces of guidance that we'll give students for the personal project is, gosh, choose something you care about because you're going to be spending a lot of time on this thing, and it can either be a bit of a painful process because you've chosen something that you don't actually care all that much about, or it can be a very rewarding process because you're spending time doing something that you would do anyway. So we'll talk a bit about that and about the sort of relationship between the personal, who we are as a person, and what sort of career we might ultimately like to be involved in. And then we'll also talk in that course about debating and research and things that are sort of applicable a bit more broadly. In grade 10, we will get more specifically into the course selection process. Of course, one of the most important things that happens in grade 10 is figuring out your pathway. That's sort of what we're talking about here this evening. Traditionally, before we had the careers-related program, the course selection process in grade 10 was really about the diploma program, in which 6 courses will you be tailoring for yourself. Of course, our grade 10 counseling process is more comprehensive now to include the careers-related program. Of course, we will have individual meetings with families. In the grade 10 counseling class, they'll go through assessments about what type of career you might want to be interested in, talk about general university application systems. Obviously, we have students going all over the place, so students need to know there are different processes in different places. We will have students generate a preliminary worldwide university list when they're in grade 10. to sort of have them have some sense of direction where they can start to narrow down from. And then, of course, we'll talk about the transitions to grade 11, both sort of from the MYP into the diploma program, sort of academic transitions, and also emotional transitions. One of the things that's most important for us as we see students transition from grades 10 to 11 is taking on more maturity and responsibility for actions. Because, you know, as we're talking about students in grades 11 and grades 12, a lot of times when we'll think about, you know, what's going on with Johnny in this class, we'll remember, okay, this is the date now. In 18 months, Johnny will be at college making decisions on his own. What is the appropriate course of action then? And if it's 18 months versus 24 months versus, you know, several years, we would make different decisions. Okay, and finally, in final 2 years, in grade 11, we will do specific university seminars and visits where students are starting to narrow things down a bit more carefully. We will do an academic review process for students in grades 11 and 12, which is a student-led three-way conference between the student and a member of our faculty and their parents. Of course, we'd have one-on-one meetings with counselors between students and counselors on an ongoing basis. And we would begin to register into the application systems, Common App for the US, UCAS for for the United Kingdom, so on. We will start to begin to talk about essays and personal statements as well. And finally, in grade 12, we will actually send those applications. We will send the supporting documents. We will work and fine-tune the essays and personal statements. This is when we would have our external exams, SAT exams, and of course, in this room, this very room, this is where our IB exams take place. And again, more academic reviews partway through grade 12. And then we begin the full transition to university process. So I believe on this beautiful 3D bar chart, this is the time when I'm going to hand the mic over to Miss Becky. So you can see, the biggest chunk of our pie is the UK, followed by the US and Canada. If you combine US and Canada together into North America, that would actually be the biggest. But you can see, all over the place. Thank you very much for your time. Here is Miss Becky.
Thank you, Meacham, and a hard act to follow. I'm afraid I hadn't prepared a joke that's suitable for this event anyway. I do have lots of jokes, but maybe not for this event. So our students go off to university. Before that, at the moment, we have the diploma program. So I'm going to just talk a little bit about the diploma. I'm going to talk a little bit about the CP, the careers-related program, and then I'll be handing over to the people who are actually living that program, and they can really, really share with you about that. So the diploma program, as you saw from the pie chart, there's lots of universities accept the diploma program. It's known for its academic rigor. It's a broad and balanced curriculum. So unlike A-levels, where you have to choose and specialize quite early on, you can choose from 6 different subject areas. So we have studies in language and literature, which is at this school English and Thai, so you can get a bilingual diploma. We have language acquisition, which at this school we have Spanish, we have Mandarin, but we also have all the other languages that you can learn with a tutor. We have individuals and societies, which we call humanities. Some people, it's the geographies and the histories and the business studies, that kind of thing. Science, the mathematics, and the arts. And at this school, you have all seen the wonderful visual arts exhibition. So I hope you've all taken the time to go and have a look at that. Dr. Meacham was talking about the academic review, and I've had the pleasure of doing some of those with the grade 11 students. And I just want to share with you, it's a physics reference. One of the female students I was talking to, and in an academic review, the students go through the grades. And this student has been doing the diploma only since August. And the grades go up to a 7. And she's doing high-level physics. And she's getting a 6. And she said to me, I think that's reasonable. And I thought, goodness me, you're a female physics student. That's quite rare anyway. You're getting a 6 after only a few months. It's a bit more than reasonable. So well done to her. So the IB, the diploma, is not just an academic course. There's the core to the diploma, which is really, really important and makes the education a holistic education, makes it different to other programs. and well-rounded students, which is what we want. We want them to have balance in their lives. So one of the courses that we do is Theory of Knowledge, where they learn about knowledge. It's quite a deep course that they all have to do, and it connects all of the different subjects. They have to do an extended essay, which is a personal research project. It's about 4,000-word paper that they have to do, which really prepares them for university. And they have to do KIS, Creativity, Activity, and Service. And this is where they might learn a new musical instrument, they do some sports, and they undertake their service learning. And then we have the CP, which we're so excited to be starting hopefully in August. We've got our IB visitors coming very, very soon. So we've got the careers-related program starting at KIS, which gives our students more options. And it gives them a careers-focused approach. And we have our visitors from SCAD, and we're also connecting with SUMAS, the Sustainability Management College in Switzerland. So that gives our students 2 other options for their high school diploma. It gives increased student choice, and as it says, it's a more focused approach for those students who know what they want to do. And the model there is our students will still take some of the diploma courses, so they don't have to choose something from one from each of the 6 areas. They will do internships, they will do apprenticeships, they will be working with SCAD or SUMAS, so they take one of those courses. And there's the core as well. So just like the diploma core, the CP has a core. They have to do a course in personal and professional skills. They also have to do service learning, which runs all the way through our school, starts in early years, so they're doing that all the way up to grade 12. And they also have to do a language. So part of their program is to learn a second language, excuse me, and they have to do a reflective project. So they don't do an extended essay, they're not doing a personal project, they're doing a reflective project at the end of their program. So that's a quick outline of the 2 pathways that we will have at KIS. And who am I handing over to now?
I will be very brief. My name is 𝐊𝐈𝐒 𝐈𝐧𝐭𝐞𝐫𝐧𝐿 I'm the Director of Admissions and Marketing at KIS, and I am actually here to introduce our virtual panel and our in-person panel. We have some wonderful guests who are with us. François is connecting from Saudi. He is our incoming IBCP coordinator. And Wilma is connecting from Hong Kong. I will let them introduce themselves. I'm going to hand the mic over to Mackin, who is going to join us here. And thank you to those who are connecting, who are streaming live. And we'll be hearing from people who are living this program, what has been their experience, what are the exciting things that they can share, because it really is something very unique, and we're very excited to be the only school in Bangkok offering all 4 IB programs. So without further ado, Mackin, you want to take over, and you guys can start chatting about the 2 different programs. I know that you want to talk about SCAD specifically, but I'll let Wilma talk a little bit about SUMAS.
Thank you so much. I should probably start with, hi, my name is Mrs. Mackin Payne, and I love the IBCP program. If there's anyone that you're going to find passionate about CP, that would be me. And of course, I think I'd like to give this opportunity and time to both Francois and Wilma to do their introductions.
Okay. My name is François de Riquel. I'm currently on the shore of the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia at the KAU School, where I'm a team lead for mathematics. I'm also a teacher of mathematics and TOK in the diploma. I will be joining KIS in August with my wife, who will also be an educator at KIS, and my children. I'm super excited to be part of this new program that KIS is launching with that IB recognition to it. So yeah, I'd be happy to answer other questions as they come.
And hello, everyone. I'm 𝐊𝐈𝐒 from Renaissance College, Hong Kong. I have been working at Renaissance College as IBCP coordinator for 6 years. And our school back in 2014 was the first school in East Asia to receive the IBCP authorization. And we were also back then one of the 8 schools in the whole world to run the 4 programs of IB. So a milestone moment for us. So in my initial kind of role being an IBCP coordinator, I work very closely with SCAD and SUMAS. Both of them are our partner schools at the early stage. And I become a firm advocate for this program. I often come across students, I think we as educators, we all have that kind of type of students who just want to run faster. They have a special interest, they have a special passion, and they would come to me saying, Miss Shen, why do I have to take all the 6 subjects? And why do I have to take math? And, they basically, I think you all come across this kind of student. They just want to spend more time on their interested area, on their passion. They just want to spend, if they could, 24/7 to really craft their skill and their speciality. So I think for me, the CP, I think maybe a lot of parents and students will have this question of, so how does CP compare to DP? What's the difference between the 2 programs? So for me, CP is a very specialized program that is suitable for students, as I said early on, who have a special interest or passion in 1 or 2 areas. And for this type of students, the CP program is an expedite route for them to really gain a head start or advantage over their peers, because with the way the program is structured, it allows them to spend more time in their career-related studies, as I'm sure Maken will explain to you later. And also, they spend the time to really connect with their future career aspiration, to craft the knowledge and skills that they can utilize in a real world of work scenario. So I think for those kind of type of students, can they do the DP? Of course they can. They probably can do it pretty well. I've got students who come in from MYP with a accumulated mark of 50 out of 56. So those are kind of type of students, if you ask, of course they can do the DP and they can do it pretty well, I'm sure. But because they have such an early interest in the specialized area, they just wanted to focus more time on it. And as a school, as an educator, I think we all should allow them this opportunity. And of course, CP is also for another type of student. I'm going to quote one of the popular social media quotes that I often come across and really like. I often tell my students and parents as well. It's supposed to be from Einstein, I'm not sure. But it says, everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. So I think we all have that kind of type of students that they are the fish and we ask them to climb a tree, which is a wrong pathway for them. We as school, as educators, we are supposed to provide them that pool of water for them to really fly and blossom and develop to their full potential and full strength. So as you can see, I can talk all day about this. I guess the next point I wanted to raise is that by partnering with SCAD and SUMAS, another advantage for the students is that they can have a very early exposure to the university courses and programs. SCAD offers 5 university foundation courses, and similar SUMAS does as well. So students 2 years earlier in their high school already are exposed to this type of university courses. The way and how learning and teaching is structured is quite different from high school. So I think they get that kind of early exposure. They get used to how critique is done, for example, at SCAD. And students always come back and tell me, Miss, I've gained so much confidence and become a much better presenter and a communicator because of that. So I think that kind of early exposure for the students and the kind of transition for them to understand, okay, because they actually study alongside university students, So the opportunity for them to socialize and mingle with their peers also give them the advantage of understanding what kind of life it is for university students. And for our students, it does prepare them to have a quicker transition into university life. Not like some other students who are initially shocked. Geez, I didn't know that uni life is like this. For our CP students, they feel quite uncomfortable. I know already, I've already spent 2 years studying alongside university students. And another point I wanted to make is also that the course really from SCAD and from SUMAS, there are so many applicable components. Both SCAD and SUMAS are able to provide our students the opportunities and facilities and the kind of programs that sometimes as a high school, we're not having that kind of capacity or resource to provide. For example, our SCAD were providing students with different kind of workshops and online forums and discussion and service learning opportunities, either offline or online in campus. And the SUMAS as well, they run their leadership conference, their natural conservation camp in the summer. All those things as a high school, we sometimes do not have that kind of resource. So it's really good for the students to have that kind of applied learning experience. At the same time, they have a strong industry connection from the institutes that they work with, and it helps them to build their personal portfolio, which again, later on, really helps them with the university admission. So I think by taking the CP, your child or the student yourself, you will later on have a resume that is more than just exam results. There are so many skills and knowledge that you're going to gain, and you're going to feel so connected with the opportunities and challenges in the real outside world of work. So I think that's why like I said, I can go on all day, but I will stop here. And so I'm more than happy to answer any questions later on if you have about specific things, how SCAD and SUMAS run, and for our students as well. Thank you.
Wilma, I don't think I need to make a presentation anymore because I think you did so beautifully. But we will have a Q&A. I'm sure a lot of the parents here, have questions, and we will have a Q&A section to answer any of those questions that you may have. And so if we can move on to the next slide. Wonderful, and that is the SCAD IBCP 2022. And as Wilma had mentioned, we're here to promote not just SCAD, but we're here to promote the entire education of advanced exposure and exploration for high school students, because we really believe that that is the future of education for all of our students, our younger students, to get exposed to a global education. So when they do go on to universities, they are well transitioned, they are familiar with the academic aspect, the culture of university life. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is 𝐷 Payne, but I also have a team member, Mi Jung, who is right there, getting very comfortable in the operation team. Hopefully I don't lose her to KIS. And of course, destination SCAD for the IBCP pathway. And so at SCAD, we offer 10 tracks or 10 pathways in which the students here at KIS can explore. Out of those 10 programs, 6 of them are actually STEM. And STEM, as I'm sure all of you may or may not be familiar with, stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And of course, STEM is very important because universities, governments all over the world are always looking for employees who have worked in the STEM industry. And so this past couple of years, especially with, when pandemic happened, as you saw, there were a lot of companies around the world, industries that were closed down because there were not enough creative people to initiate new industries. And so this year, we're very happy at SCAD to offer, STEM programs that have been approved by the USCIS, which is the United States Border Department, that the SCAD curriculum, which is the creative curriculum at SCAD, which includes creativity, but also includes technology aspect of it, is deemed as STEM. And so if the students here at KIS choose some of the programs, the ones that are highlighted in red as STEM, they will be able to go into the STEM pathway program at SCAD. And we also offer a customized track. And so this means that should a student, be like, I'm interested in design and technology, but I'm not really sure if I want to go in that area of university. I'm interested more in liberal arts, or I'm interested more in medicine, or I'm interested more in another, alternative field. We still have some options like, college mathematics, which is something that every university will, they need to take that. So they can start practicing that and taking some of these classes at SCAD online. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the program eligibility and highlights who can take it. So they obviously have to be high school juniors and 16 years of age. The duration, as we mentioned and Wilma rightly put, is it's a very flexible timeline of 2 years. And in that 2 years, they will take 5 subjects or courses at SCAD. And with that, they earn advanced college credits, which means that if they take these 5 classes, they're earning half a year of university credits at SCAD. And as, at KIS, as we mentioned before, that students who take the CP are also taking the DP, so it's the best of both worlds. So when they take the DP classes here at KIS, if they earn certain scores, whether it's standard level or higher level, there is a possibility that the student who's taking these tracks at SCAD can actually fast track the entire first year at SCAD at the university. And we can talk a little bit more, delve into that a little later. And of course, the platform is that they can take online classes from anywhere in the world. When we first started offering the CP program, we worked with Hong Kong as well, and that was like one school. Then we worked with ESF, we worked with Discovery, and now we have partners all over the world, and we're very excited. Every year at SCAD, just in the fall alone, we have over 40+ students who are taking the CP program. In fact, this spring, which starts next week, we already have 4 students that are taking the pathway with us. And of course, all of the classes are taught by university faculty who have had, industry experience. So you can only imagine the content and knowledge and power skills that they are learning from university faculty while they are still in high school. So it's definitely an added plus of education. So I want to go over a little bit about the benefits and the value of the CP program, because I know that is the #1 question that I always get from all parents, schools, whenever I travel around the world. So the first benefit, with the IBCP program, we offer 50% scholarship grant, because we understand that these students who are wanting to take the CP program are early adopters, which means they're super proactive, they're advanced in their school, and so we honor that by giving them the half tuition scholarship. And so that's amazing. For example, at SCAD, one subject costs around like $4,000, so the course would be, for one subject, it would have 50%. The second benefit is we offer what we call the retake policy. At SCAD, we are very, particular, and we want to make sure that our students learn in a positively oriented environment and that they are satisfied with the program. And so what we do is that if a student, CP student, takes the online class at SCAD and at the end of the quarter feels like for some reason they didn't get the best grade, or they want to do better, or maybe they had a personal problem and they couldn't finish, whatever the reason may be, we allow them to retake the class at no additional cost, because we want to make sure that they have a positive experience of learning at SCAD. Benefit number 3, as I mentioned, you can fast track your first year of university at SCAD. Benefit 4, as Wilma had mentioned, again, they are portfolio ready and resume ready. I can tell you this, that as an executive director at one of the world's top art and design universities, my team and I, we interview, thousands of students. I take a look, obviously, at their transcript, but more so, I take a look at their resumes. I'm always wanting to know, how many languages do they speak? What are their extracurricular activities? Are they just very academically inclined? What countries have they traveled to? How global are they? And when I see students' resume and I see that they've already taken university level classes, to me, that's it. This student is coming to SCAD. So I think that a lot of the way that universities are looking at admission and admittance is not just focused on this whole idea of GPA alone. It's that holistic, it's that balanced, well-rounded perspective that KIS members here were also talking about. So that, I think, is important. Their portfolio doesn't necessarily mean that it's visual portfolio. So, students who are interested in taking business, we help them, work on business plans as well. So at SCAD, we offer business programs, we offer design, technology programs, so they can create business plans, and whether they come to SCAD or go to another university, they can still create those. So I think adding the fact that a student who took the initiative to study at the university while still being a junior and at high school would mean a lot for for them when they're submitting their applications to different universities around the world. And this is a testimonial from one of our IBCP coordinators in 𝐕C in Shanghai, which is one of the top international schools. And I kind of want to read this out to you because a lot of the students that take the CP program, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to come to SCAD. We're all in the same field together. And so here he says, 𝐕C IBCP SCAD graduates have received hundreds of thousands of dollars in scholarship offers from universities based on their quality of their application and portfolio. I have no doubt that their experience through the IBCP CRS has played a huge part in this success. As the IBCP coordinator, I feel that SCAD has developed excellent channels of communication with their partner schools. SCAD has also put in the time and effort to make their pathway accessible to all. The IBCP scholarship goes a long way to make the program financially viable for schools and for students. And then the last benefit of all is skills to succeed in tomorrow's world. So a student that is in the CP program, we at SCAD have students from over 100 countries around the world. So they are learning to communicate, collaborate with students from around the world. Just an example that I would give you, we had a student who, there was a group project in one of the IBCP classes, and so they were the project was about creating a marketing plan, and the market demographic was in China. And so they were thinking they're young, so social media is gonna be great, let's work on Instagram, all of that. And the students learned that actually Instagram is not available in China, so they have to work on many different levels, different platforms like Weibo or WeChat or things of that nature. So the kind of information that they're learning, it's not like a high school information knowledge, but it's really what people are learning in the industry. They're learning cultures, professional etiquettes, and they get exposed to so many visitations. For example, we had one of the directors from Google who popped into the classroom to talk to the students. So there's a lot of industry experts who come and guide the students, and they get that information from them. Of course, communication is going to be key because they're going to have to ask questions of how to succeed in that class. That's important. Time management, because they're going to be here taking classes, so they learn those skills, and of course problem solving, which is a skill that even as adults we all need. So imagine starting all of these global skills from a very young age. By the time they're graduating high school and 2 years of university, and they go into university and then go into the real world, they are so much more advanced than all of the other players that are out there. Okay, so there are two IBCP SCAD pathways, two options. The first option is that the students have, they can take all of these classes online, like one every quarter. So SCAD is on a semester, on a quarter basis, not semester. So they take these classes all online. I want to share a short video, it's like a minute or so, about what it's like to take the SCAD online class.
Students can live anywhere in the world and study at SCAD. Through SCAD Now, students have access to face-to-face teaching and collaboration in a real-time, online learning environment. In my classes, I did have several students that were located through different countries throughout the world. There is so much that is offered to the students. We did virtual field trips, collaborative online learning activities, regardless of where they were located. I was a vice president of marketing for several corporations. The resources here rival those that you would find out in the real world. This is how the real world works. So the students will learn the techniques that they need to be fully prepared to enter the workforce.
Okay, and the next option, if we can change the slide. Okay, so it's a hybrid program that we have where the students actually start online and then finish it in one of our US locations, either Atlanta or Savannah, or they can start online and then in the summer and then finish it like from Thailand or wherever that they would be because it's online. So there is also another video that kind of shows the students' experience through our summer program.
One reason that I did the Rising Star program is to gain the credits coming into SCAD. It's a 5-week intensive, so you do all of the work that you would do in 10 weeks, but in 5.
Once you go through Rising Star, you can do E-Star, which is online programs during your senior year of high school to get ahead, which was the best decision because I came into SCAD a quarter away from being a sophomore, and it was the best summer of my entire life.
I first started with the summer seminar program and returned the next summer to the Rising Star program. Then I went back home to Barcelona and actually got this incredible opportunity of studying online in the program called E-Star. So after I've attended these programs, I brought along some of my friends. It felt like bringing a little piece of home with me to Savannah.
They have it set up pretty well where you always feel safe, so it's not like you're a fish out of water. You're not scared. I loved it.
My experience drove me even more to do what I wanted to do. There wasn't any choice in my mind. I had to come to SCAD.
I came into college with a year finished and ready to take advantage of all the opportunities that SCAD had offered me.
I would say the previous pre-college students who were enrolled at pre-college programs here at SCAD, their work ethic is already developed and become more well-rounded students right from the start.
Definitely take the online classes because you can set your own hours. It's the best way if you cannot get on campus.
Bring your A game. You will need every ounce of creativity you have at this school.
In case you are wondering why there's a bee, that's our mascot. It's Art the Bee. Just wanted to quickly share that. While we do have 10 tracks, I just wanted to kind of quickly go over our top 3 tracks that students from all around the world take. And the first one is the Foundation Studies General, which is a STEM pathway. And a lot of the students, because they're also really young, they're like, I want to do design and technology, but I'm not really very sure about which pathway to take. So this pathway allows them to go into all of our programs at SCAD. So that's that. And then the the second track is the graphic design. Now, graphic design at SCAD, again, is a STEM program. And so they start out with the foundation classes, but they end up taking the graphic design classes because that's their career focus. And the third, of course, is our Business of Beauty and Fragrance. We recently launched our School of Business Innovation, which is actually called Domenico De Soleil, who actually, I don't know if you all watch Gucci. He's in the movie. He was the He used to head Gucci when Tom Ford was there, and now he heads, Tom Ford. But this is where they take the business of beauty and fragrance. Again, they start out with the foundational classes and end up with the business of beauty and fragrance classes. Again, this industry is that's like super hot, and right now it's at about $532 billion industry based on the world statistics data, and this is really just set to like grow. So we've had a lot of students that are interested in this program, and our assistant dean who is heading this program is actually from Estee Lauder. So, and the next slide. So I'm sure parents, schools are always asking us, well, can you tell us a little bit about the students that have taken this, IBCP pathway? How do they feel about it? Can you tell us a little bit? And so we've created a special video for all of you. It's also on the IBO website. And if you can play that.
I think a creative thinker is a person that can navigate through unfamiliar situations and isn't daunted by problems that require a little bit more of an outside-of-the-box kind of solution.
This in turn creates very unique ideas and solutions, and this is so important for everyone, but it's especially beneficial for those who are planning to work in a creative field.
I think SCAD really aims to teach you that you can be successful in a creative career, and it is good to be creative and be a creative thinker.
Something I specifically admire about the courses that are offered at SCAD is that they're catered to prepare you for the industry, and that's something that I couldn't really find at some of the other schools that I was looking at.
One new thing I've learned about myself so far is my perseverance or resilience skills. I understood that mistakes are part of the learning process and how important it is to seek for feedback from your peers and your professor.
SCAD has helped me with realizing that anything is possible if you just put the hard work in and really believe in yourself and push yourself.
After I graduate from CP, I will be able to transfer all the skills I've learned through my SCAD experience, specifically 3D sketching, planning, communication, and overall skills where it is relevant in the interior design degree.
I can firmly say that having the opportunity to take classes that specify in what I want to study has definitely strengthened my love for film and made me even more sure that I want to pursue it as a career in the future.
I got to take online university courses, which not only gave me an understanding of what university coursework is like, I also got to develop valuable skills like self-disciplines, independence, good organization, and time management, which I think will be of benefit to me for any endeavors I choose to pursue in the future.
I used my experience with SCAD and the IBCP to help me build a very good knowledge of the design basics, and this helped me land an internship at an art gallery back at home. And finally, the best thing that happened to me by doing the IBCP was getting enrolled into SCAD, because it was the college that I wanted to go to since I was in grade 9, and it's so fun. So yeah, I really loved the IBCP and SCAD.
We're all so proud of our SCAD, IBCP alums. So yeah, I think that this is a time for Q&A. I mean, you've watched so much information. I'm sure you may have some questions. Are there any questions that you have in mind? I think we can, if you want to just kind of raise your hands or switch on the light. Oh, blinded. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And I think if we can also get Wilma and all of them on the screen, that would be great. Yay. Welcome back, Wilma and Francois.
Francois, do you have any questions?
No, it's just I love hearing those stories, and it just makes me really looking forward to be part of that and joining you in August.
Sorry, I quite don't understand yet. the IBCP or the CP and the IB, the differences is the IB, you still take it like 6 subjects, and the additional 5 subjects of the CP, or is it like totally ignore the 6 subjects of the IB?
Would somebody like, I mean, I can answer that. I think both of us can answer that. So there are 2 options. You do the full diploma, where you're taking your 6 classes. Then you have the other option, which is the CP. So you've got the DP and you've got the CP. When you're taking the CP classes with SCAD or SUMAS, you are also taking 3 to 4, right? 3 to 4 DP classes. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. You get to do both. So 4 of the classes you're doing here in KIS, and the others you're doing either online and half on ground in the United States, earning university credits.
And that 4 subjects, does it still have to choose advanced and the 2 advanced, or what is the high level and the standard? Is there any clear cut that how many that you have to choose?
So I'm going to throw this to Francois.
You can choose, like you have to take at least 2, and they can be at standard level or higher level, and you can take also more than 2. For instance, I know SCAD is offering special credits where to go in their college later on if you take more than 2 of the DP class. So that's really what CP is special about, is that personalization of learning. So if 2 is the minimum requirement of the DP class. There's some more condition for if you take a language, or you cannot take 2, for instance, math class, but most of it is take 2 out of the 6 classes. I can see that Wilma want to add something.
Yeah, so at KIS, we have the diploma, which is an IB pathway. We have the CP, which is an IB pathway, but we also have our high school diploma. So everyone who graduates from KIS also gets our high school diploma, and there are certain graduating standards that are required, like, for example, a certain amount of years of mathematics. So you might not do a 2-year diploma course with SCAD, but you would have to do 1 year of maths so that you can graduate from the school as well. So there's lots of different pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, but basically Francois is right, you must do 2 diploma courses. You can do more than that if you want to. And then there's the core that you also have to do with the CP. So you have to do at school, and there will be classes in the courses, the professional studies, then there'll be the service learning. There is a language component, so you have to learn another language, and then you do your reflective project, and there'll be someone, a supervisor, supporting that as well. I can see Wilma's got her hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to add that it is a conversation, if you are in grade 10 for students and parents, it is a conversation that you should have with your career-related study coordinator, the CP coordinator, and also the college counselor. It also depends on what university, what country you want to go to. For example, if you want to go to America, and some STEM subject major would want the student to have a certain level of math, and some country, because of the visa issue, might want you to have the English. So it's a conversation really involves the higher education counselor and your CP coordinator. So it's a joint decision by students' personal interest and by the expertise of the coordinator, as well as the expertise and knowledge from the higher education counselor on the destination, on the major you would like to pursue.
Kind of.
I'm
It's
not sure I need-
complex is
Yeah.
the short answer, but we have the qualified teachers and professionals to guide students through the process.
I was just going to say that as well. We're all here to help you.
I see a question. I see a hand.
Thank you. This is a follow-up question to the one that was just asked. Forgive me for being a bit stupid here, but I still don't get it. So there are 6 subject matters in the regular IB program, and then you have this professional diploma. And if I understood you correctly, you're saying that there are still 4 subjects that you're taking, selecting out of the usual 6, right? And then you're adding what sounds like essentially online classes for 2 subjects. So instead of doing 6 on campus, you're doing 4 on campus and 2 online. Is that correct?
So it's 5 classes online. So the CP program is basically you're taking 5 classes over a course of 2 years. So that's what we need from, if a student wants to take the CP program at SCAD, they're taking 5 classes over 4 years, over 2 years, sorry, at the university. And here in KIS, they're choosing between 2 to 4, if I understood what Francois is saying, up to 4, so 2 to 4, they're taking that here at KIS. So it's a combined kind of like, I guess the best way to maybe explain it would be a hybrid partnership between a high school education plus advancing into university education. The best of both worlds.
We call it dual enrollment.
Yes.
You're dually enrolled in university and KIS, having both of those. Does that answer your question somewhat? I know that, Mackin, when we spoke earlier, you said that there were some questions that you get kind of standard questions about maybe what if you don't want to go to SCAD, or what if you don't want to go to SUMAS? Yeah. Could you touch on that? Because I think that that's a relevant point to
Absolutely,
address.
and yes, absolutely, and I think Wilma can also kind of like, touch on that, because she's had multiple students who have, taken the CP at SCAD, but also gone to other universities. So I will say that majority of the students do end up coming to SCAD, but we have a wide range of students who have actually gone to other universities in the UK, they've gone to Taiwan, stayed back in Hong Kong, as well as I think Wilma was sharing an experience earlier as well about one of the students who actually went to Parsons, if I'm not mistaken. Wilma, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, one of our students who graduated from SCAD, and she was successfully enrolled into the Parsons School of Design. Fashion design is her passion, and she received a scholarship from Parsons. At the same time, she also received a Hong Kong government's overseas studying scholarship, which is a first ever for Hong Kong government to issue a scholarship to a program that is not yet locally widespread and recognized. So that is a huge achievement on the students' behalf.
And I think one of the other questions we get asked a lot is also like the financial aspect of this, because it obviously adds in, a cost for students to take the university education at SCAD, which is the IBCP program. So the way that we have worked on this is that students can fast track a whole year, up to a whole year university education at SCAD. And in essence, they're paying about $10,200 over 2 years to get these university credits through the CP program. But at the same time, because we're partnering with the IB schools, the students who are taking these IB classes, the 2 or 4, depending on what combination they take, they're able to transfer those credits as well to SCAD, making it like, joining it, making it like an entire year's worth. So just to go over a little bit on that, we do accept standard level as well as higher level classes. Students who take the IB, SL, subjects, we transfer them as one course in the university. If they take higher level, then we turn that in as 2 courses at SCAD. So, I would say that taking the higher level obviously is a little bit more beneficial because they're spending that same amount of time and here in KIS, but they're transferring that into 2 university credits. And this is an initiative that universities in the United States have taken upon, like since the past couple of years. There are about, I think, 9 states in the US that have taken this initiative to accept SL classes to the US education.
I saw Wilma's hand up. I don't know if she wanted to add anything. We can probably hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to also answer back to that parent's question about, so basically CP is Martin said, a hybrid model. It has a part of the DP, the rigor of the curriculum, and it also has a part of the career-related, which allows the students to really dive deeper into one specific subject area. So parents are saying, you can choose between 2 to 4, and by choosing less diploma subject, which is 6 of them, and if you know the DP, it's quite rigorous. It is very demanding program, and by engaging with 6 subjects with a TOK, with a EE, with a KIS, it's a lot for the students to take on. But for those specific type of students, if they take less diploma subjects, that will allow them to have more time they can spend on the specialized subjects such as SCAD and SUMAS. So they have more time to really build their portfolio, build their kind of all the professional and personal skills to transition into their future higher education and future career. So it's just a 2 different kind of approach. And in a way, CP is more individualized and customized curriculum for your child. You can really choose a combination of subject coupled with a career-related study and take off to higher to fly high, basically. So I hope by this way, I answer your question.
I think so. Wilma, thank you so much. I think there were 2 things that you guys mentioned that's a perfect segue to the next 2 slides. Somebody touched on, the financial burden and as well hearing from students. So I wanted to take this opportunity to allow Wilma to publicize the IBCP conference that they are organizing. I think it's a really fantastic initiative. For those of you who are interested in this program and learning more, Wilma, do you want to share briefly what this is about?
Thank you. Yeah, this is an initiative that a couple of, as you can see at the bottom, so Renaissance College, Shatin College, and a few other CP schools in the Asia Pacific region. So it's the first ever student-led IBCP conference, whereby students will be sharing with you their own learning experiences and their perspectives on the program. And through the kind of career-related study, they're going to cover SCAD and cover SUMAS as well, and they're going to talk about all the core components, what they do in each of the sections. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for interested parents and students if you wanted to find out more. Also, from my own experience, students wanted to talk to their peers. They want to hear what their peers' learning experience is like. But I guess they get a bit tired by educators or administrators tell them about the program. So they really want to find out from their peers, what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, how are you doing it, what are the highs and what are the lows. And so if this is something you currently feel like I'm really interested, please come and join us. I think this will be giving you more information and making you understand the program a lot better.
Thank you, Wilma. That's fantastic. We will be sending an email with that link to everyone who attended today. I know that QR code is really, really small. And on the topic of the financial burden, let me just jump up there since we're still broadcasting. We will be having our next College and Coffee, which is a monthly event here at KIS. And we did a survey of the KIS parents, and the topic that came back that you most want to hear about is financial planning related to the cost of college, the rising cost of tuition. So that's going to be the topic here in the morning next Friday. That will also be coming up in the KIS newsletter, and you'll be receiving reminders about that. So save the date as well. Lots of information to share. I wanted to thank everyone for coming in today. This was really a fantastic event, and it was the work of many. I wanted to thank Makin and Mijong for coming all the way from the United States here, and of course Wilma and Francois for patching in. This has been wonderful, and thank you again for attending.